Hello class, I hope you are doing good. Okay, so we were doing chapter 12, that is the endocrine system. We will be continuing with that particular chapter. We have already completed two major endocrine glands in our previous class. I hope you have gone through those videos. Okay, today we will become, since your syllabus consists of 4 endocrine glands, those are your thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas and pituitary gland. We have already completed adrenal gland and pancreas. Today we will be carrying out with thyroid gland and your pituitary gland. Okay, first let us go in detail about thyroid gland. Okay, first let us discuss the structure of the thyroid gland. Now you can see the picture given alongside. Your thyroid gland, it's a bilobe structure. 2 lobes are present, and if you look at the picture properly, your 2 lobes back view connected with the help of there's an interconnection that's called isthmus. Okay, with the help of isthmus, 2 lobes are interconnected. Okay, now where is it present? It is obviously present in your neck region, in front of your neck, just below your larynx. That means just below your voice box you have thyroid gland. Okay, now what are the hormones secreted by thyroid gland? The hormones secreted by your thyroid gland are your thyroxine and calcitonin. Okay, out of these 2 you have to learn in detail about only thyroxine, though we will just go through the function of both of it. Now your thyroxine, it carries out all the basic metabolic function in your body, starting with digestion, your functioning of your heart, development of your brain, bone, muscles. Okay, whatever the basic function that is being carried out along with respiration, okay, cellular respiration, so that is being carried out by your thyroxine. Okay, so whatever the basic metabolic function is carried out within your body, your thyroxine has role to play in it. Okay, now next hormone, that was calcitonin. You just go through the function. Calcitonin, name itself suggests you that's a calcium, something is related with calcium. Okay, so this calcitonin hormone, what does it do is it lets the calcium ion from blood to the bones, because we all know that bone is very much calcium is very much essential in order to maintain the rigidity of a bone, right? So that movement of the calcium ion from the blood to the bone is done by your calcitonin. Okay, so understood the basic function of thyroxine and calcitonin. Okay, so we will focus only with thyroxine. Okay, thyroxine, the basic function, like I told you, from digestion to your heartbeat regulation, okay, to your brain functioning, to your muscle and bone development, all of this is carried out by your thyroxine. We all know. Next we will be dealing with the disease which is resulted because of either hyposecretion or hyposecretion of thyroxine hormone. Okay, I have been telling you that hormone has to be secreted at a correct amount. If the level is higher or low, it's going to cause a defect in our body or certain disease in our body. Okay, first we will be dealing with the disease caused due to lower secretion of your thyroid hormone. Okay, that is known as your hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism means when your thyroid hormone is secreted in a low amount. Okay, now what are the different diseases caused because of hypothyroidism? Number 1 is your simple goiter. Now if you have seen some of the people with a swelling occurring in the neck region, in this region, ball like pouch, have you seen that? Some of the people, okay, you might have seen that there's a swelling occurring, that is known as goiter. Now how does goiter occur? Now goiter occur because of low secretion of thyroxine. Also it's a diet deficiency disease because of not taking a diet containing iodine. Iodine is very much essential for the formation of a thyroxine hormone. Okay, and if your diet do not contain proper amount of iodine, thyroxine formation cannot take place. So because of that, low secretion of a thyroxine is going to take place, and that will result into goiter. Okay, it usually okay. So how can we cure that? It can be since it's a diet deficiency disease, so you can by taking the diet rich in iodine, you can correct this particular disease. That's why you are suggested to take iodized salt. Okay, so next, that's all about simple goiter. It's caused because of hyposecretion, low secretion of your thyroxine hormone. Okay, now next is your cretinism. It usually takes place in a children's. Okay, what happens is, how does it occur? It occurs because of either improper development of a thyroid gland, okay, or degeneration of a thyroid gland in an early stage itself. Okay, because of which your thyroxine production cannot take place. So it usually takes place in children. So what are the symptoms that we can see? The symptoms that can be visible are short growth, that means dwarfism, proper growth does not take place in the children, and they are mentally retarded, that means proper brain development also does not take place. Okay, so that's all about cretinism. You have to know the symptoms as well. Okay, now next, coming to myxedema, it usually takes place in a adult. Okay, now what are the symptoms? The symptoms are, they are sluggish with swelling face and hands. Their face and hands are swollen. Okay, so this myxedema all takes place in a adult. Okay, so that's all about hypothyroidism. You will go through 3 different diseases, that is simple goiter, cretinism and myxedema. Okay, now next we will be talking about disease related with the more secretion of thyroid hormone, thyroxine, that is hypothyroidism. What are the different diseases caused because of hypothyroidism? Okay, okay, now carrying on with hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism, what does this term tell you? That thyroxine hormone is secreted in an excess amount, that means over secretion of thyroxine has taken place. So because of hypothyroidism, exophthalmic goiter, it's a name of the disease, it is caused. Now if you break this term, exo means outward and ophthalmos means eye. So what happens in this condition is, your eyeballs are protruded outside. Okay, they just bulge out of the eye socket. It seems as if that eyeball is going to pop out. Okay, so that happens in case of exophthalmic goiter. Okay, now as I told you, your thyroxine hormone controls all the basic metabolic activity like heartbeat, your rate of respiration, all those things, right? So if your thyroxine hormone is secreted in more amount, what do you think will happen to your heartbeat? Obviously your heartbeat is going to increase, it's going to beat faster than usual, right? It will be resulting into breathlessness. Okay, you will be restless because excess of metabolic activities will be carried out because of more secretion of the thyroxine hormone. Okay, so that's all about the thyroid gland. You have to go through the 2 hormone, that is thyroxine, calcitonin, just know the function, thyroxine, you have to know the function, what are the disease caused because of lower or higher secretion of that particular hormone, and what will happen to your basic metabolic activity in case of over or less secretion of a thyroxine hormone. Okay, so we have completed thyroid gland. Next we will be moving on with pituitary gland. It is also referred to as master gland. Okay, now why do you think it's referred to as a master gland? It's referred to as a master gland because it regulates the secretion of hormone in other endocrine gland too. That means it's regulating other endocrine gland too. That's why it's referred to as a master gland. Okay, now where is it present? Location, it is present in the base of the midbrain, just below your hypothalamus. While discussing about the different parts of a brain in your nervous system, we have discussed, right? In midbrain you have a pituitary gland. At that time we did not discuss about its function. I just informed you that we have a pituitary gland there. So your pituitary gland is present in the base of your midbrain, just below your hypothalamus. Now your pituitary gland is also a 2 bilobed structure. You can look at the diagram given alongside. Okay, it's a 2 bilobed structure. It has an anterior side and posterior side. The anterior lobe secretes a different hormone and posterior lobe secretes a different hormone. Okay, first let us discuss about the hormones secreted by the anterior portion of a pituitary gland. The first one would be your growth hormone. Okay, it is abbreviated as GH, and other term for growth hormone is your somatotropin. The name itself suggests you that it helps in maintaining the normal growth in a human being. Okay, so growth hormone maintains the normal growth in a human being. Now what would happen if your growth hormone is secreted in excess amount or in a low amount? First let us discuss about the disease that is caused because of the secretion of a growth hormone in a low amount. That is, hyposecretion of a growth hormone will result into dwarfism. It usually takes place in children. Okay, so what happens is, though they are completely mature, but their height is that of a small children. Their height do not grow above appropriate level. Okay, that's called dwarfism. It takes place in children. Okay, now because of the oversecretion or hyposecretion of a growth hormone, what are the disease caused? First will be your gigantism. Now what is gigantism? It also takes place in a children. Their long bones grows above the normal length. Okay, above the normal length, their long bone grows and height can reach up to 2.7 meter. Okay, now next one is called acromegaly. Now what happens here is, it takes place in adults. Suddenly increase in a height takes place. Okay, and what are the other features that you can see? Though sudden increase in height takes place, the facial bone grows and it takes a different shape, big nose, big lips. Okay, hands and legs are of a bigger size, swollen, somewhat swollen type. Okay, so that happens in adults, sudden change in the height. Okay, that's called acromegaly. Okay, so first one was a growth hormone that was secreted by anterior lobe of a pituitary gland. Next we will be discussing about the other hormones that is secreted by the anterior lobe. Those collectively, those hormones are known as tropic hormones. And why this? What is the role of these tropic hormones? Because these hormones regulate the functioning of the hormones secreted by other endocrine gland, who we will be seeing next. Okay, let us go through the hormones, that is other hormones that is secreted by your anterior pituitary. Tropic hormones. Now tropic hormones has a collective other hormones. Like I told you, your tropic hormones, it regulates the secretion of hormones by other endocrine glands. So let us go through that. Okay, the first one is your thyroid stimulating hormone, also abbreviated as TSH. You have to go through the full form of abbreviated form and the full form. They usually ask you for 1 mark questions. Okay, so you have to go through it. So thyroid stimulating hormone, the name itself suggests you that it helps in stimulating the thyroid gland to produce more of thyroxine hormone. Okay, you all know the function of thyroxine in detail. Okay, now next one is your gonadotropic hormone or gonad stimulating hormone. It regulates the function of a gonad, that is ovaries and testes. Now under gonadotropic hormone also you have 3 different hormone. FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone. So a follicle stimulating hormone regulates your ovaries to produce eggs. Okay, and your testes to produce sperm. Next one is your luteinizing hormone or LH. What is the role of this? It regulates the formation of corpus luteum in case of female so that progesterone can be secreted, okay. And in case of male, it stimulates the testes to produce male hormone, that is testosterone. Next one is your prolactin. The function of this hormone is to formation and secretion of the milk in female, okay. So you just have to go through the function of each one of these, okay. Now another tropic hormone is your adrenocortico hormone, or abbreviated as ACTH. Now it regulates the functioning of your adrenal cortex, okay. It regulates the adrenal cortex to secrete the hormone. We have already gone in detail about the different hormones secreted by your adrenal cortex, okay. So it helps in regulating your adrenal cortex. So that's all about the hormone that is secreted by your anterior pituitary. Now let's go towards the hormone that is secreted by your posterior pituitary. Now let us go through the hormone that is secreted by your posterior pituitary. You have two main hormones, that is your ADH, antidiuretic hormone, also referred to as vasopressin, okay. Now let us go through the function of antidiuretic hormone. What does antidiuretic hormone do? It helps in reabsorption of the water from kidney tubule, okay. So what do you think would happen if it is secreted in a less amount? If it is secreted in a less amount, that means less reabsorption of the water would take place, right? That would result in frequent urination, okay. Now that disease is referred to as diabetes insipidus. I hope you remember, while discussing about insulin, because of the hyposecretion of the insulin, one of the disease was caused, that was diabetes mellitus. Now you might get confused with what is diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus, okay. Now here insipid means tasteless. That means no glucose is present here, less amount of glucose is present here, okay. And your meli means honey, that means you have more amount of sugar in your urine, okay. So diabetes mellitus, okay. So mellitus, if more amount of sugar in the urine means obviously your insulin is not performing properly, because insulin it generally helps in conversion of the glucose into glycogen, right? So more amount of sugar in the urine means obviously your insulin hormone is not secreted in a proper amount. So that's why the disease diabetes mellitus, more amount of sugar in the urine, you are releasing more sugar in the urine, okay. And diabetes insipidus means frequent urination because of the improper functioning of your ADH. Because of the low secretion of the ADH, your water is not being reabsorbed back from the kidney tubule, because of which frequent urination is taking place, okay. I hope you can differentiate between diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus, because they generally ask you the question between these two, what is the difference between diabetes insipidus and what is the difference between diabetes mellitus. They usually ask you to write the difference between these two, okay. Now the other function of your ADH, it also constricts your blood vessel, that's why it is referred to as a vasopressin also. Thus if the constriction of a blood vessel takes place, that means rise in your blood pressure, okay. So that's all about antidiuretic hormone. You just have to go through the function and the disease secreted by the deficiency of it, and you should be able to differentiate between diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus, okay. Now next, moving on to oxytocin hormone. Now function of this, oxytocin hormone is generally secreted during the labor. Labor means whenever it's time for the delivery of the baby, okay. What happens is, because of the secretion of this hormone, your uterus wall starts contracting, thus helping easy release of or easy delivery of the baby. Other than that, it also helps in milk ejection, okay. So that's all about the function of the posterior pituitary. We are done with all 4 glands. I told you, so while starting you have to go through the location, hormone secreted, function and disease because of hypo and hypersecretion. I suggest you to go through the syllabus that I have already provided you, so that you can cover those topics which are in the syllabus only. Okay, now next you will be dealing with the feedback mechanism. Now let's go through the last topic of your chapter, that is feedback mechanism or control of hormone secretion. I have been repeating again and again that your hormone has to be secreted at an optimum level, right? If they lower or higher, we have already seen that leads to certain disorder in our body, right? So how does the maintenance of a optimum level of a hormone takes place? Okay, now our body has a mechanism of maintaining that level. Okay, so if the hormone is secreted in a too high amount, the message is sent throughout the gland that it has to be secreted in a lower amount. Okay, or if it is in a low amount, a message is sent that body needs some more hormones. Okay, so that is referred to as a feedback mechanism. Okay, if a hormone is too high, to secrete lower amount in order to maintain the balance. If it is secreted in a low amount, to secrete a bit higher in order to maintain the balance. That's called feedback mechanism. Okay, now your feedback mechanism can be two types: negative feedback mechanism and positive feedback mechanism. Now what is negative feedback mechanism is the opposite action takes place. For example, if TSH thyroid stimulating hormone is excess in amount, then the message is sent to secrete it in a lower amount. Okay, if it is in a low amount, then message is sent to secrete it in a bit high amount, so that balance can be maintained. Okay, that's called negative feedback. That means opposite action is taking place here. Positive feedback means if the hormone is secreted in a higher amount, the message is sent that it requires more of those hormone in the body. That means higher amount message is sent to secrete the hormone in a much higher amount. That happens in a rare cases. Like example of a positive feedback mechanism is your secretion of the oxytocin hormone in case of when the women are in a labor. Okay, for the delivery of the baby. I told you oxytocin helps in contraction of the uterus wall, right? So that easy delivery of the baby takes place. So in that case, whenever the oxytocin hormone is being secreted, the body sends the message that more of the oxytocin should be secreted at that particular moment. Okay, so that it would be easier for the delivery of a baby. So positive feedback takes place in a rare account. Most of the time the negative feedback mechanism takes place. So let us discuss about the negative feedback mechanism, taking thyroxine stimulating hormone as an example. Okay, that's in your syllabus. Whatever the flowchart I will be discussing, you have to go through that properly. Okay, they usually ask you diagrammatic question based on this particular flowchart. Okay, now let's go through this. So your hypothalamus secretes a hormone called thyroid releasing hormone, which stimulates your anterior pituitary gland to secrete thyroid stimulating hormone. We know the function of thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone further goes and stimulates your thyroid gland to produce more thyroxine. Okay, now in a blood, if there is a more amount of thyroxine, then what happens is this thyroid gland sends a message to the hypothalamus that it should inhibit its function or function for a while. That means it should stop stimulating anterior pituitary gland to secrete more of a thyroxine stimulating hormone. Okay, it also sends a feedback to the anterior pituitary to stop its function for a while. Okay, so this is referred to as a feedback mechanism. Here the higher amount is in the blood, presence of more thyroxine in the blood itself is regulating the other glands to stop their function. So this is known as your negative feedback mechanism. Okay, so that's all about this chapter, that is endocrine system. Okay, most importantly you have to go through the hormones of all the different, you just have 4 endocrine glands. Next I'll be supporting with you with the multiple objective type question and diagram based question regarding this chapter. I hope you will be copying these in your biology copy, because it would be very much helpful to you in regard to your board exam. Okay, because you will get the idea about what kind of question will they be asking you from this particular chapter. So I hope you will be going through the whatever material we are sending and you are writing it in your biology copy. Okay, thank you.